My significant other has an 11-year-old brother. This brother is coming to live with us because, well, his parents and my significant other's parents are going to prison for a very long time. And I'm not going to get into too much detail yet about why they're in prison, but just know, what they did to this 11-year-old is heartbreaking. So now he's going to be living with us, but here's the problem. When I'm home alone with this kid, all he does is creep me out. And I know this sounds horrible since he's only 11 years old, but he stares at me. All times, like when I come out of the shower with a towel wrapped around me, he's in there somehow staring at me and I'm like, what are you doing in here? And he doesn't say a word. That was only one example. I'm telling you, something is off. My significant other doesn't seem to think anything's off, and he says I'm overreacting. Well, you know what? I just found out something I wish I never knew. I'm going to get absolutely eviscerated for this, and I honestly do deserve it. I feel sick even messaging this out, but I need outside perspective because I genuinely don't know if I'm overreacting or if my guts are telling me something is real. Taylor and I, well, he's 26, I'm 23. I've been together with him for almost 5 years, living together for 3. We have a small 2-bedroom flat. Nothing fancy, but it's ours and we've made it work. Things were good, normal couple stuff. We do bicker back and forth and dish out stuff, but we watch too much TV. We're saving up to and maybe buying a place in a few years that doesn't involve an apartment. Standard. Well, 3 months ago, Taylor's parents got arrested. I'm not going to go into all the deets about it because it's not my story to tell, and honestly, it's still being sorted out legally. But it was bad enough that they're in custody, both of them, and it doesn't look like they're getting out anytime soon. Well, Taylor, he has a younger brother named Alec, who's 11. There was talk about foster care, but Taylor immediately said no. Alec would stay with us. And of course, what else could we do? He's a kid who just had his entire life blown up. His parents are gone. He's been pulled out of his school, his home, and I feel awful for him. So, Alec moved into our second bedroom, which had been Taylor's office/storage room. We cleared it out, got him a bed, and tried to make it feel welcoming. And I really, truly tried to be supportive. This kid has been through something absolutely unimaginable. The first week he barely spoke. Just sat on the couch staring at the TV even when it wasn't on, and my heart broke for him. But then things started getting weird. The staring started almost immediately, but I told myself he was probably disassociating or processing trauma, except it was not vacant staring. He would just stand in doorways and watch me. I'd be making dinner, and I would turn around and he would be in the kitchen entrance, completely silent, just looking at me. Not saying anything, not moving, just staring. I would jump because I didn't hear him come in, and he would stay there for a few more seconds before running away. No explanation, no sorry, nothing. And okay, here's where I probably sound like the terrible person. I don't know. The bathroom thing. It started in our bedroom. At first I thought maybe he was looking for Taylor or needing something, so I would say, hey buddy, are you okay? Do you need something? But he would just shake his head and leave. Taylor was not even home half these times, and I started locking the door when I was changing, but our door doesn't lock properly. We've been meaning to fix it for ages. It's just one of those things you ignore until it becomes a serious problem. So I bought one of those portable door locks from Amazon, the kind you wedge under the door handle. It sort of worked, but not really. The bathroom thing is where I really started feeling like something was wrong. Alex would use the bathroom with the door wide open, not locked, not unlocked, just fully open. I could walk past and see him standing there, and I told him multiple times gently that he needs to close the door. Hey Alec, can you please shut the door when you're in the bathroom? It's just good to have privacy, yeah? He would nod, and then do it again the next day, door wide open. Okay, right. Here's where I sound like a terrible person. One evening, I just got out of the shower. I had a towel wrapped around me, and I opened the bathroom door, and Alec was standing right there, right outside the door. Not walking past, not coincidentally in the hallway, just standing there facing the bathroom door like he's been waiting. We made eye contact, and I froze. I felt this jolt of fear that I immediately felt guilty about because he's 11, he's a child. But the way he looked at me, I just grabbed my clothes and went back to the bathroom and locked the door and sat on the edge of the tub, trying to convince myself I was, well, just reading into things. So, when I told Taylor about it that night, he said Alec probably just needed to use the bathroom and was waiting for me to finish, but I'd only been in there for like 3 minutes, and we have a schedule now where Alec showers in the evening and I shower in the morning, specifically to avoid this kind of thing. Taylor got kind of defensive and says, well, you know he's been through a lot, he's just adjusting, give him time. But it kept happening. More staring, more bedroom intrusions, and I started changing in the bathroom entirely. Even though it's cramped and steamy, I felt like I was going insane because every time I brought it up, Taylor would give me a variation of he's just a kid. You're overthinking it. Well, 2 weeks ago, I let Alec borrow my laptop because his school stuff is all online now, and he said he needed it to look something up for homework. Fine, whatever, this is the age of ChatGPT, so I barely used the computer anyways. He had it for maybe 2 hours, and when he gave it back, I opened it later that night to check my email, and my browser history was full of very inappropriate stuff that I didn't look up. And I don't mean like he accidentally clicked an ad or something, I mean pages and pages of this stuff. Downloaded videos in my files, stuff that made me feel sick to look at. It wasn't the quote norm either. I showed Taylor immediately, and this felt like something he could not dismiss. Except he kinda did. He said boys will be boys, they get curious around this age, it's normal. I'll talk to him about internet safety. I said this wasn't about curiosity, it was about boundaries. Why was he downloading things on my laptop? Why so many videos, and why was he comfortable doing it? Taylor said, I'm just making too big of a deal about this, he would handle it, and we should just drop it and move on with dinner. Well, I didn't drop it. I called my friend Lils, and I was crying on the phone trying to explain why I felt so uncomfortable in my own darn home with an 11-year-old boy, and she just flat out said, that's not normal behavior for an 11-year-old. Maybe if he was 16, but the staring, the boundary issues, all of it. He might be acting out of trauma, but that doesn't mean that you have to just accept it. Taylor needs to get him into some sort of therapy. So I looked into it. The NHS, the waiting list for child therapy in our area is literally a year long. So I suggested private care, and Taylor said we can't afford that, which is true. We're already stretching thin, and we're now feeding 3 people instead of 2 mouths. But I pressed him. I said something has to change, this cannot be our normal. And Taylor gets really quiet and says, what do you want me to do, Clarice? Kick him out? He's my little brother, he's been through hell. You want me to just abandon him because he's a little worried? And that made me feel like the worst person alive because yeah, Alec is weird. Yeah, he makes me deeply uncomfortable, but he also is a traumatized child who lost everything. How much of my discomfort is about him versus about me being selfish and wanting my old life back? I've been walking around feeling guilty for being creeped out by a kid who has every reason to act out. But then yesterday, Alec came into our bedroom again while Taylor was at work, and I was sitting on the bed folding laundry, and I heard the door creak open. I looked up and there he was, just standing in the doorway staring at me, and I said, Alec, please knock before you come in, okay? Well, no response. He just stood there, so I said it louder. Alec, I need you to leave the door closed. Well, that moment he took a step inside. I stood up and felt my heart racing, and I said really firmly, get out now. Well, he left, but I sat there shaking, feeling terrified, and immediately guilty for feeling terrified. I mean, what kind of person am I to be scared of a kid? I told Taylor when he got home that we need to sit down and talk, like really talk. I said I know Alec has been through trauma, and I know this is hard for everyone, but something is really wrong, and if we do not address it, I can't keep living like this. I told him I'm not trying to make him choose between me and his brother, but I need him to take this serious. I need actual boundaries enforced, and I need Alec to see someone, even if we have to beg social services to fast-track it. Well, if Taylor can't do that, I need to stay somewhere else for a while because I'm not sleeping. I'm anxious all day, and I feel like I'm losing my marbles. Taylor just stared at me, and then I swear I thought he was going to yell at me, but instead he just started to cry. Not like tearing up, it was full-on sobbing like he just watched a sad movie. Hyperventilating even. I've never seen him do this in 5 years. I didn't know what to do. I just held him while we looked at each other and he fell apart on our couch and I'm sitting here hours later writing this, trying to process what the hell went down. So guys, I'll leave you with this before I drop an update later. Am I overreacting? Am I a monster for being uncomfortable? Is this kid's behavior normal? Do I need to just suck it up and just give it more time, or is my gut instinct correct? That something is seriously wrong here. I feel like I'm drowning in this and I don't know what to do. Help. Update number 1. Okay, deep breath. I wasn't planning on updating this soon, but things have happened and I need to get it out there because I genuinely don't know how to process any of it. After Taylor broke down, he could not stop crying for what felt like forever. I've never seen him like this. He's always been the steady one, the rational one. Seeing him completely lose it scared me almost to death, as much as everything that Alec has done. When he finally calmed down enough to talk, he said something I was not accepting. He said, I knew something was wrong with Alec, I just couldn't let myself admit it. Guys, he told me why. Taylor was abused when he was a kid by his father, the same father who just got arrested, and he never told me. 5 years together and he never said a word. He said that he'd buried it so deep inside him that he could almost pretend it didn't happen. That when I met his parents, they seemed normal because he'd convinced himself that they were. That his childhood was fine, and what had happened was just something that he needed to forget. But then when the arrest happened and everything came out and Alec moved in acting the way he was acting, Taylor said he knew. He said that he watched Alec's behavior and recognized it because it was the same crap that he used to do. The boundary pushing, the testing, all of it. And the reason Taylor kept dismissing my concerns was not because he thought I was overreacting, it was because he couldn't face it. He said, if Alec was going through this too, and I knew or I suspected, and I never said anything, never reported it, never stopped it, then it's my fault. I didn't know what to say. I just sat there holding him while he said over and over I should have done something. I should have said something. I could have protected him and I didn't. I told him it was not his fault, that he was a kid too, that victims are not responsible for what happens to other victims, but I could see that he didn't believe it. I don't think he even believes me now. We stayed up till like 4 a.m. talking, and Taylor said that he was terrified to confront any of it because it would mean admitting what happened to him was real. It would mean dragging everything back up, but he also knew that ignoring Alec's behavior was doing exactly what was done to him, pretending everything was fine when it seriously wasn't. The next morning, Taylor called social services, then he called the police, contact handling his parents' case. He told them everything, what happened to him, what he was suspecting about Alec and Alec's current behavior. They took statements from both Taylor and Alec separately. I was not in the room for Alec's interview, so I don't know what he said, but afterwards a social worker named Laura told us that there would be an investigation, but it could take a long time and we should not expect fast answers. But here's the thing. After the interview, something shifted with Alec. Taylor actually sat down with him. Really sat down and set boundaries, clear, firm, non-negotiable boundaries. No coming into our bedroom without permission. Doors stayed closed when using the bathroom, and no using other people's devices without asking first. And, well, he also said if Alec broke these rules, there would be dire consequences, no screen time, no treats, whatever it takes. I expected Alex to fight or ignore it like before, but he didn't. He just complied, completely like he's been waiting for someone to tell him where the lines were. He stopped staring and he stopped barging into the rooms and he knocked and waited for permission. He started closing the doors. It was such a sudden change that it almost felt eerie, but in a different way than before. Before he felt unpredictable and intrusive. Now he just seemed like a quiet kid who was finally learning what normal behavior looks like. Laura got him enrolled in Scouts through some kind of emergency fast-tracked program. I guess they have protocols for kids in crisis. See, the very first meeting, Alec did not want to go, but Taylor drove him there and stayed the entire time. The leader, Evelina, was apparently amazing. She worked with trauma kids before. Alec came home with a handbook and a uniform, and for the first time since moving in, I saw him almost smile when he showed Taylor the badge that he got. He's been gone for 3 weeks now. He's made friends with another friend group, some kids in the group. They play some video games together online. I think it's Fortnite. Alec talks about him at dinner sometimes, just little things, but it's more than he said about anything since he got here. School is still rough. He's behind academically, and his teacher Charlie says he zones out a lot. But he's attending. He's trying. Laura got him on priority list for therapy, and we're hoping that he'll get in within a few months instead of years. Taylor is seeing someone too, finally. He said he can't help Alec if he's drowning himself, and he's carrying around so much guilt it's hard to watch. He apologized to me about 100 times for dismissing me, for not taking me seriously, and for letting things get as bad as they did. I told him I get it now. Not that it was okay, but that I understand why he couldn't see it. He was protecting himself from the truth that he was not ready to face. Things between us are still fragile. There's a lot we need to work through, but we're talking more honestly than we ever have. As for me, I don't feel scared in my own home anymore. I still feel weird sometimes, like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but Alec doesn't feel like a threat now. He feels like a kid who's been through something horrible and is slowly learning how to be a kid again. Final update. It's been 2 months. Hey guys, just a short little update. Alec is doing so much better. Not perfect, not fixed, but better. He's still in Scouts and he genuinely enjoys it. They went camping last weekend and he came back filthy and exhausted and talking about how he learned to start a fire. It was the most animated I've ever seen him. His uniform still looks too big on him, but Evelina says that he's really coming out of his shell with the other kids. School is still a struggle. He's working with a tutor twice a week to catch up, and Charlie says he's making progress, but it's very, very slow. He still has days where he shuts down completely, but he's also having more good days than bad days, which feels like something. He started therapy finally. I don't know what they talk about, and I don't ask, but I've noticed little subtle changes. He's more expressive. He's asking about things instead of just hovering silently, and he laughs sometimes at dumb stuff on TV. It's still fragile and tentative, but it's there. Taylor is struggling. He's in therapy too, but I can see the guilt eating at him constantly when he checks on Alec obsessively, like he's trying to make up for years of not protecting him. I've tried to tell him that he can't parent from a place of guilt, but I don't think he's ready to hear it. He's working on it with his friends, and it's a process. But for me, I still have moments where I feel weird about everything. I felt like such a monster for being scared of an 11-year-old, but everyone keeps telling me my fears were valid, that Alec's behavior was concerning, regardless of the reasons behind it. What do you think? That I wasn't wrong to push the boundaries, and I'm trying to internalize that, but I still feel guilt about it. That the thing that nobody tells you about trauma is how long it takes to heal. Like, I thought once everything came out and Alec got help, things would just be better. But it's not linear. Some days he's not doing well, some days he's great. Some days Taylor is okay and some days he's not. We're all just taking it day by day. The police, the investigation is still ongoing. We don't know what'll come of it, and Taylor's parents are still in custody, and honestly, I hope they stay there. What they did to Taylor and what they probably did to Alec, there's no coming back from that. Taylor still has moments where he talks about going to see them and I have to bite my tongue. And I want to scream at him that they don't deserve it. But that's his journey to figure out, not mine. I guess the point of this update is that there's no neat ending here. Alec is not cured, Taylor is not healed. I'm not some hero who saved everyone, but we're just a messy group of people trying to survive something really messed up and making incremental progress, but we are doing it, and for now that's enough. To everybody who commented, yeah, on my original post telling me to push Taylor and take it serious, to trust my instincts and to not let myself be gaslit into thinking I'm overreacting. Thank you. I don't know if I would have had that conversation with Taylor if I had not posted here. And I don't know where we would be now if the conversation had not happened. This stuff is hard, but we're still here and we're still trying.